Hey developers! Today we're going to look at something really cool. This is called Vue UI. This is included with Vue-CLI 3. So this feature allows you to create your Vue projects using this project manager. And in fact, you can actually go into projects after they're already created and add more plugins to it. It's just a really useful tool. It's in beta right now, but you can actually get the latest version of Vue-CLI 3, which if you just go and do an npm install tac-g at Vue-CLI, as you can see here from the website, this will install the latest Vue version, or if you're in Yarn, you can use the Yarn global add. And once you have it installed, it brings up this screen here. And by the way, if you don't know, my name is Eric. I'm a software developer. I have over 10 years of software development experience, and I'm actually the author of a new book called Vue.js in Action. It's published by Manning, so you can check it out on Amazon or on one of the links below if you guys are interested. So let me go ahead and let's get started here. So you can see here, what you could do is if you bring up the console, after you do the install of it, you just type in Vue UI, and then it'll go ahead and run for you. And it'll run on localhost 8000, and it'll bring up a screen like this. Now, it might look a little different. In the bottom right-hand corner, there's a way to change the color scheme. So just for this video, I made it darker to make it look a little bit easier, but you certainly can leave it in light version. And what you do is you click create here, and I already have a directory I'm running it in, home Erik programming Vue. And what you could do is create a new project here. And then it's going to ask you, this is actually a little confusing. If you can see right here, it looks like there's already a name here that says my app. And the first time I ran this, I realized, why isn't this working? Why can't I click next? But you actually have to type in the name here. You can always click here and change the directory that you want to run it in, but let's just create something here. And I'm going to create a hello world. By the way, there's a handful of other YouTubers that have been showing these features too. I just want to give a shout out. This was an inspiration from a couple of other ones that have been showing the Vue-CLI. So now I have the next button here. If you click next, it asks you which are presets. Now you might think this is kind of weird. This is ASD. This is one I created earlier and I saved, but now I could see it here. So let's do manual. And this, you can also do this on the command line when you type in Vue create, but this is just a nicer way of doing it. So you can do manual here, and then it gives you options of like what do you want to select. So you can see here there's little you can kind of turn them on or off. So like Babel, obviously it's probably a good idea to have it for old browsers. You can add TypeScript, PWA support, router. So let's say I want the router, I want Vuex. Let's do a CSS preprocessor. I'm going to turn linting off. Probably want some unit testing. And well, we'll leave the unit testing off for now. Well, yeah, we'll turn it on. Doesn't really matter. And we'll hit next. And then it asks you like some more questions. Like, is use history mode for router? Probably want that. Looks like there's a little bit of a glitch there, but that's fine. Pick a CSS preprocessor. I can like pick SAS. You can pick a unit testing solution. I'll pick Jest, and I'll hit create project, and then it'll ask you for the project name if I want to save it as a preset, but I'm just going to hit continue with saving, and it'll go ahead and create it for me now. Okay, it went ahead and installed, so it brings you to this screen right here, this project plugins. So you can see here, here's our project hello world. We have a Vue-CLI service, we have our plugin Babel, and a unit Jest. And what's cool is that there's some tasks at the bottom here. We'll get back to plugins here, but we have the serve command, so I can hit run task, and it's going to go ahead and just run the server for us. Obviously, you can easily do this on the command line too, but this is kind of neat because it gives you some more graphics, and it tells you a little bit about what it's doing here. You see the dashboard, you can see the outputs, you can see localhost 8080 if I click on it. So here's my Vue app running that it just created. You can see where it's on the network as well. And you can even do things like look at the analyzer. So the dashboard's cool. Let's take a look at what's on here. It tells you the asset size. And by the way, you can do stats, parsed, or gzipped. So you can see like if you had a gzip, it's 512K. Gives you the errors, the dependencies. And then it gives you like speed stats. So you can see how big your bundle is. It's almost like a Webpack Analyzer if you've used that in the past. Well, here's more like Webpack Analyzer. We'll get to that in a second. but you can kind of get an idea of like how long it would take to do just certain things in your app. So to load on mobile edge took 17 seconds, 3G 2.5, DSL 2.5. And then it kind of tells you like what's taking up the biggest size. Like the app.js is taking 500K. Image logo 6.4, about, fav icons. And then it shows you the dependencies here on the right-hand side. So that's really helpful and useful. If you go to Analyzer, you can kind of get a visual analyzation of what everything's doing. Like I said, there's a tool called Webpack Analyzer, which is probably a little bit better than this. But this still gives you an idea of like what's taking up space. You're told gzipped, parsed, and stat size. So that's definitely really helpful. And like I said, you can hit the output here. But there's other tasks. We can build our tasks. So we're going to stop. We can leave it running. If I hit run task here, it's going to go ahead and build for us. You can see here it's compiling. It has a little graphic of what it's doing. Since we don't have anything in our project, it should be pretty quick. It tells us our asset size, module dependency. We could also look at the averages, the speed stats. We can see what it looks like when it's created, the size of the bundle. We can also kind of look at how we're building it. This is building production, and it's putting in the dist folder, but we can also change things here. Like we could make it for test or development or unset it. And we can change the web target. So you can see how this is how big your asset's going to be once it's gzipped and done for you. So that's really neat. And once again, you get the output. You can see the size of each chunk of file that it created. You can see like the output of the commands it was doing. And then once again, you also get an analyzer to see how big everything is. So this is pretty cool, and you can switch it to the stats or parsed. I can run unit tests here. If I hit the run test, it's going to run basically Vue-CLI service test unit, and you'll get, here's all my tests are passing. I obviously, this is nice. I would still probably use just the command line for a lot of these things, but it's good you have this. And then inspect the resolve webpack config. You can also get some more information here on the webpack config. So all very cool. Now, configuration, you can go into configuration, you can change your base URL, you can change the output directory. Some of the things that you may have had to go into your files, the configuration files, now you can do a lot of it inside here. You can change your CSS settings. I'm not going to touch any of this. You can see what's installed, your dependencies. You can see Vue, Vue Router, Vuex. If you click on here, it goes to the GitHub, so you can see like some information about it. And development dependencies that it's using. And then the plugins. Now this is cool. If you can hit add plugin here, you can. This is. I know Ember has this where you can do. There's a ton of Ember packages that you can install. Now Vue is getting quite a big ecosystem. There's a lot of Vue packages. It's not as big as probably some other systems, but there's a lot of people building these plugins for Vue, and you can kind of just search for it and install it. Like, I can install Axios, and here's the Vue-CLI Axios library. And then I can just click install, and it installs it for us. So that's pretty neat. You can just kind of search through and add these things. It'll help you configure it. If, let's see, like we go to Axios, and we hit install Vue Axios, it's going to install it. Now, some of them will actually have configurations you can do too, like the PWA will ask you some more additional questions if you want to set it up in a certain way. But we'll install this Vue-CLI plugin first. So this one, when it hit installed, it says no configuration. So you can just hit finish installation. So it's going to go ahead and invoke the Vue-CLI plugin Axios, but it does everything for you basically. Great, and now you can just continue here, and now you can see now I have this plugin, which is pretty cool. So that's really what you can do here. You can go back to your Vue project manager. You can see all the different projects. You can actually import ones in if you have one from a previous project that you want to import in, and can I do this analysis too and install plugins for. I haven't tried to do it for older Vue projects. I'm not sure if it'll work as well, but at least we know the newer ones should be able to import it in, and you can always go back in and make configuration changes. So I think this is really cool to create projects. That's one of the things that beginners have problems with, is tooling. Well, is creating a project and then how to add things in, especially once you start trying to add different plugins in. You may not understand how to do the configuration. That's cool that this plugin has ways of setting up the configurations too. All right, so that's basically the Vue UI in a nutshell. If you guys don't, just double check it, download it, start playing around with it. It's really cool. Create some quick projects, see what you like, and let me know. Leave a comment below if you tried Vue UI. Let me know how it is. What do you guys like about it? Thanks.